All right. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Town of Amherst Historic Preservation Commission meeting for January 30th, 2025. May I have a roll call, please?
Mancuso,
Present.
Amplement,
Present.
Swartz,
Here.
Waterman Culpa, Hershey, Kenzie,
Here.
Wright.
Here.
For the town, Mayor Nucci, Fidel, here, Quinn, Alba, and Howard.
All right, thank you. Our first item on the agenda is the minutes approval from our December 10th, 2024 meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Ms. Waterman Culpa, second by Ms. Kenzie. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0. All right, on to new business. Item number one, we elected to look at getting a museum membership to the Buffalo History Museum for research purposes. I believe I sent correspondence 3 or 4 weeks ago. I was able to get a response from the Buffalo History Museum, Buffalo and Erie County Historical Society, excuse me, and they recommended if we would like to move forward with the museum membership, it would be good for 6 licenses, as it were, to come and review or come and use the research library. And that cost, I believe, was $250 for an annual membership. So if anyone has any discussion, I'd like to open it up.
I think it's a great resource to be able to use, especially with the amount of new kind of research we've been doing the last few months. I think it would be a great way to spend some funds.
And to clarify, only 6 memberships because you have your own membership
No,
already.
well, that
No?
was the thing they came up with. I also happen to be a member of the History Museum, so I'm covered. But it basically, you would go and it would be a card given to this body, and we would take it to the museum when we needed to go perform research at the library.
Just a question. Is there more? I just happened to just be there. Are there 2 parts of the library, like the research part and the regular part?
So yeah, so in order to research things and get assistance from their librarian, you need to make an appointment,
Okay.
and that's not open to the public.
Okay.
So there would be a fee every time you wanted to go do that, and so this saves on that fee.
Right. Because she mentioned that you can go into their library.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
But
Just wondering.
pulling out records
Yeah,
and actually having them help you. Yep. So this would do that. They also have an online, as part of it, there's an online documentation so you can research articles and use their equipment to do it. Their staff is very adept at helping. All right, so then hearing positive, I think I'd like to make a motion to utilize $250 from our annual budget to move forward with a membership to the Buffalo History Museum.
Mary Lou Mancuso, I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries 7-0. Thank you. I will work on that. And just for housekeeping, I would get an invoice and send it to Mr. Quinn. All right. Yeah, that is part of it. I did mention that. I'm sorry, I forgot to bring that up. The Town of Amherst planning staff would also have license to go and perform research. All right. Next item under new business is our 2025 proposed calendar. It is on page 9 of the packet, excuse me, for reference. I believe original dates are on the left-hand column and proposed dates are on the right-hand column. Oh, excuse me. Thank you. Oh, I see it here. Yep, thank you. So the items in red are the ones that we are considering changing. All right, so I'd like to open for discussion. If anyone has any comments on the proposed dates.
I won't be here in May.
Good for you.
Well, I was, and now I'm not. So, I was on the 13th.
Not on the 6th.
Just a quick, these are all Tuesdays mostly.
In red with that crossed out, what's being proposed.
Yeah, the dates next to. So the crossed out were the previously approved dates, and the ones to the right are the proposed dates. Are they all Tuesdays? That's a good question, James.
It looks like most of them are.
Okay. Thank you. All right, so we have one known person that can't make one meeting. Yeah, I see Norm's looking at his calendar, so I want to give him a second. Okay, all right. All right. So then, hearing no further discussion, I'd like to make a motion to accept these proposed dates for our historic preservation meeting schedule for 2025.
I'll make a motion.
You'll second? Oh, all right. Yeah, sorry.
Oh,
That's
I'll
okay.
second.
Oh. That's right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Motion carries 7-0. Approved. All right, and we'll shift into old business now. Item number 3 on our agenda is 46 Gettsville Road, a local landmark nomination that we received in October.
Yeah, so just gonna jump right into it.
Yep, go ahead.
So I did write up an updated sort of just version of what I had before. This kind of adds on the importance of the gatehouse or the caretaker's cottage as well, which is an already locally landmarked and eligible property on Main Street that was part of the Hedstrom estate. I'm also like really excited to talk about this right now because I pretty much exhausted all of my research and found that no supporting evidence that the drawing that I previously had in here was accurate. So I looked through the town of Amherst records. I looked at every newspaper article, library, everything. I think it was just drawn wrong. So I don't think those dormers were ever added on after the construction of the building. Yeah. And then also the dormers on the cottage, caretaker's cottage, also have very similar dormers throughout the building as well. So I thought there would be some sort of relevance between the two. I found a little bit more evidence too that there was a Four Winds garden or farm that was on the left side of the caretaker's cottage that was also included in the estate. So I just kind of tried to exhaust all of my resources and found no other supporting evidence that there was any work done on this building. So the period of significance stands as 1904 of the original construction date.
No negatively.
No, yeah.
Okay. I know you had asked if I could help on an architectural, and I apologize. I didn't
That's okay.
get to it yet, so I apologize for
I
that.
did list, some of the architectural elements in my updated write-up of the building and kind of using what was already listed under Chris. So I use that as like a resource. Yeah. If we need to elaborate more, I think it what I wrote in here just shows the connection of the caretaker's cottage and the estate as a whole. And I would like to point out as well the newspaper article that's submitted here on page 19. It's kind of hard to read on here, and I can always send it to you guys separate, but it does a really good job of describing the property in a whole and how beautiful the building was and how it really was supported by the grounds itself, but now we just have the building. And I think it's just really important that we just try to save this, whatever's left of that.
This article's from 1949.
Yep, that's when they first put it on the market as an apartment complex.
I see. Okay. I think we would have to note architecturally I don't know if you call it intrusions, but the dissimilar materials that have altered some of the appearance.
So like non-contributing vinyl that's on the side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. But otherwise, a lot of it appears to be intact without walking up to it.
Yeah, and I mean, I was even able to find, I think the photos in here of the rear of the building, the secondary entry, and compared it, and all of the windows, doors, even the cement wall with like the ball sculptures on there were all the same since the 1900s.
It's interior.
No, exterior, sorry, the secondary entrance in the rear,
okay.
yeah.
So on page 12 of the application, under major alterations, that's when like the siding would be put on.
Okay. I don't think when you're filling out the application, there's nowhere to put like notes on it. So I can just like add it in. I'll put it in my write-up of that being updated then, and just maybe I can talk about like the addition of the fire escapes and things like that that are non-contributing. Okay.
Yeah, we have to.
Yeah, I would just list all the non-contributing
Yeah.
features.
Yep.
It is still used as an apartment complex today, yeah. I believe there are 8 apartments in there at, and that was the same when it was listed in 1949.
Getting really close.
Yeah, I mean, like lots of really great articles of the family and how they like enjoyed their estate or invited people over for tea and things like that. I mean, it's been a very active property from Main Street all the way down to Sheridan. So,
Okay. Is there any action? We make a motion to adjourn?
I would adjourn it. You.
Yeah, yep. I have work to do. Is there any other, so somebody that's got experience, is there anything else we should be looking to add to fortify?
I think the architectural narrative identifying non-contributing features, and I think then it's set.
Okay.
do we have to wait a whole another month?
You have 2 weeks until the next meeting.
Yeah, because it's February 11th, I think.
Okay.
Okay. Yep, February 11th is the idea. Got it.
Brian, and you're gonna do the narrative with like contributing features?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. All right, so I'll make a motion to adjourn this item.
I'll second it.
Second by Ms. Waterman Culpa. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0. All right. Item number 4 is 4511 to 4521 Main Street, another local landmark nomination we received in October. If you want to jump back into this one.
Yeah.
Sure.
Also excited about this one because I exhausted every avenue of sources, and I'm sticking with period of significance in the 1932 when it was first constructed. I found no other evidence of what 1932.
Drawings say 37, no,
32. It was submitted 31, and then
Oops, sorry. So hard to read. Thanks for that. I'll correct my narrative.
So yeah, and then Kate worked on the architectural narrative that we have here.
Yep, and I'd be happy to read that. Just gonna correct it on here. Okay. So the Art Deco on Main, 4511 through 4521 Main Street in Amherst. The two-story stores and art asymmetrical building located at 4511 through 4521 Main Street in Amherst, New York, retains most of the character-defining features of the Art Deco style in which it was designed. Designed by Buffalo architects Edwin Bacon and William Lurkey for the Martin Development Corporation and built in 1932 through 1933, this Snyder-located masonry building is one of a handful of Art Deco buildings in all of Amherst. The Bacon and Lurkey team also designed several Art Deco style buildings in the Buffalo region, including area theaters. The Art Deco style emerged in the early 20th century, known for its streamlined forms, bold geometric patterns, and vibrant detailing. Although many Art Deco buildings after the Great Depression became streamlined modern, this structure embodies the essence of the early Art Deco movement through both its exterior design and intricate ornamental features. The structure is a two-story, 4 irregularly spaced bay commercial building of masonry construction with an intact Art Deco style second-story facade. The storefronts at the center and west end have been highly altered by the installation of new facing materials, windows, and doors, while the storefront at the east end retains original/rehabilitated brickwork, fluted stone pilasters, and storefront openings. Past construction permits show that the newer brick and siding of the modified first-story storefronts were applied over the obstructed historic material, including the bottom portion of the two-story fluted pilasters and bases. In the future, rehabilitation of the building should consider the removal of these 1960s materials and to fill in the modified storefronts to match the east bay of the building's knee wall and storefront system. The second-story facade is clad in cast stone panels and bears a total of 18 1/1 vinyl replacement windows with screens. Above the windows, flat panels have been installed over the ornate 5-part vertical brickwork. The facade is framed and divided into bays by Art Deco fluted pilasters with flat ionic volutes. The third bay from the east is a narrow vertical bay with a single entry door at the first floor and Art Deco fountain bas-relief panel over the second-story window that slightly peaks to a simple pediment above the rest of the building height. This offers a sense of grandeur to the building's main entryway. There are a total of 5 man doors at the first level of the storefronts that still remain in the original locations. The other second-story windows in bays 1, 2, and 4 have low-relief Doric simple fluted pilasters with a horizontal stone base that extends the length of the building. The existing exposed brickwork above the east storefront is ornamental. 11 running bond patterned bricks are capped with a dental brick. Under the running bond bricks is a triple basket weave. The lowest horizontal brick is hidden by the top of the rib storefront molding. The period of significance for the proposed Art Deco local landmark at 4511 through 4521 Main Street under Section 121-6, Criteria 3 for architectural significance, is 1932 to 1933 at the time of construction of the building. Although some of the key character-defining features are hidden, evidence supports the fluted pilasters and covering above the second-story windows are intact under the 1960s applied materials.
I would also like to add that the State Historic Preservation Office now considers this building eligible. And it's under Chris, so.
So I guess I would expand the period of significance in 1932 to 1933 because it was very late in the year when the building permit was requested. So it was definitely built the following year. It was built in both years.
Okay.
So you can either do 1933 when it was finally constructed or during.
I
the
would do
construction.
during, yeah.
We would guess. I guess we would guess at this point that the facade revisions made in the front were made for decorative reasons, not functional, or, in other words, the materials underneath are still intact.
Yes, yeah. And you can see with the first storefront on the left, that's, you know, what's under the faux brick on the right side.
That is why on the real property, if you look at the western edge of the building, the first floor brickwork extends past where the second floor original brickwork is. There are many examples of this up and down Main Street, including it right here in the village, where they've applied that faux brick or real brick over the storefront systems.
Yeah, you can see it on the side there.
The center middle photograph shown on the screen.
Yep.
Yes. I will make a motion.
Haley,
Yeah.
the picture on page 45,
Mhm.
if we had to guess a date, a year that this is from, what would you say, like the 70s?
60s, 70s.
Yeah.
Late 60s.
Yeah.
So 50 years ago or so.
Yeah. What page is it? 45? Thank you.
This one.
There we go.
And I don't know why the tag on 45 is chopped off, but that is the original construction floor plan.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
of
Yeah, it
the
wasn't
first
cut
one.
off last time, yeah.
Right.
And that was just showing like the entrances where the doorways are have not changed since the building was constructed in 1932 to that 1933 time period.
Anything else?
And SHPO did list it as an Art Deco building. However, they did list it under criteria of important, having a brain fart, important things that occurred within the building and people.
Yeah, criteria 1.
Thank you.
We're only doing one criteria?
It
1
said
and
it,
3.
1 and 3.
Yeah.
Her evidence supports 1, my evidence supports 3.
Okay.
Well, I should say, based on her evidence.
And just a final question on this one, I guess for the Gettsville one too, we are the petitioners here, no one from the public set this forward, these two sites?
We're always the petitioners.
Yeah, once it's accepted, it becomes ours.
Okay, thank you.
And that is listed in our responsibilities and duties in the code is to set forward local landmark nominations.
There is just one owner for all these sections of the building. It's all owned by one
the
individual.
building was just, The building was just sold as of, I think, a month ago. So the building owner owns this building and the building directly next door that kind of extends down Lincoln. Yeah. So the whole complex. Yeah. They are separate buildings, so I just want to make that very clear.
All right, does anyone have any further discussion? All right, somebody wants to make a motion?
I will make a motion. Make a motion that the Historic Preservation Commission moves the local landmark designation application form for 4511 through 4521 Main Street in Amherst to public hearing under criteria 1 and 3 with attaching the supplemental material as presented to date, including the architectural narrative.
Does anyone have a second?
I do, Haley Wright. Second.
Seconded by Haley Wright. Can I have a roll call, please? Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, we'll have discussion. Excuse me, go ahead.
Criteria 1 and 3, what does that entail, and is it indicated on the application?
Good question, thank you.
It's on page 28 of the packet.
So right now it's 2. And we're adding, unfortunately, our application doesn't align with our new statute. So all these 5 things, you have to play match game, unfortunately. So the statute is the correct thing, and we should revise our application to match that. So I'm sorry for the confusion.
Bring up the statute then to make sure that I'm absolutely correct, which I had.
I usually carry it.
earlier.
Do you have the statute?
Say, it was criteria 3 when I looked at it from home.
Well, so criteria 1 is associated with the lives of individuals or of people or events significant to the national, state, or local history.
So are you reading that off of this?
No,
Yeah.
Right, but
No,
in
read it-
here,
we gotta read it off the
Oh.
statute. Yep.
Okay. So what's on there? Okay.
if I get the whole thing
That's
out.
3 of the 5. Okay, so 1 and 3 are on the board.
Yeah, those are the 2 that I'm going with, 1 and 3.
Okay.
Yeah. So the one I read, yes.
This does not.
Yep.
So with an amended
Application.
page 28.
Yep.
on here.
Only 1
Yes.
and 3.
Yes, 1 and 3.
Yeah. So the one I just mentioned. Yeah. So yeah, identified with persons or events significant in local, state, or national history.
And for some reason, 28's identifying a historic district, and that's not true either. So
No.
it's 1 and 3 on page 28 at the top, under the HPC may recommend designation of the individual properties as historic landmarks. If it, 1, is associated with the lives of individuals or people, or the events significant in the national, state, or local history, and number 3, it represents the work of a master architect or designer or possesses high artistic value. Those are the 2 criteria that my motion reflects.
So we're amending the motion.
Well, I said 1 and 3 already.
You said 1 and 3. We're just making sure that it's correct for the record. Yes. Thank you. All right. Any further discussion? Norm, that was good. Thank you. All right. If there's no further discussion, we have a motion and a second. So then could we have a roll call?
Mancuso,
Yes.
Ampleman,
Yes.
Swartz,
Yes.
Waterman Culpa,
Yes.
Hershey,
Yes.
Kenzie, Wright.
Yes.
All right, thank you. That carries the motion 7-0. We will move forward with a public hearing. Do we have to set a schedule now? Yep, so let's set a schedule. We're looking at, now can we double up with, yeah, so we cannot do February. Do we double up with our March meeting or can we make it 6 p.m.?
You're pushing it.
No, push 6 p.m.
I guess we could.
Well, based on our previous public hearing, which took about half an hour,
Yeah, I guess 6 o'clock if everybody can do it.
yeah, I have a feeling we're not going to get through it that quickly.
Yes, I have done that in the past. I would schedule one public hearing for 6, the other one for 6:15, and then they finish when they finish. They just keep going.
6:30, 6:45.
No, you just say
6 and 6:15. The meeting is at, oh wait, no,
6:30.
6:30, 6:45. The meeting's at 7. Everything just elongates until we catch up.
Okay, so then we'll set this meeting. We have to make a motion?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to set the public hearing for 4511 to 4521 Main Street at 6:45 p.m. on March 11th, 2025. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Waterman Culpa. All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Motion carries 7-0. Write that down. All right. Thanks for your work on this. I appreciate it. All right. Let's move to item number 5. We were discussing a roundtable of preservation commissions for spring 2025. Has anyone made any progress or discussion?
No, but
Hearing none.
I can send an email out if we just pick a date. Well, wait, we were holding
We can discuss.
because of Preservation Day. We didn't know what was happening there.
Yeah, I don't have an update. I've not met with Dr. Stiver in a while on it. We were, I guess, targeting May. Do you think maybe these two items could coincide? We could have the roundtable at the Preservation Day. An idea.
It's in kind of in lieu or an alternate to the panel discussion.
Sure.
That's for the Preservation Day Committee to decide.
Yeah, that's an idea. That's an idea.
Yes. So why don't you guys kind of set what you're doing and then we can circle around to the roundtable. I think we only need to give them, a month or less notice, the participants.
Is that still being held at the village? Are they changing locations?
Preservation Day.
Yeah.
Our last discussion was continuing at that site. Yeah. Yep. With a similar type schedule, we were looking to alter, maybe offering snacks or beverages or something like that.
Well, we had that last year, right?
Light.
Yeah. I think it just needs to tweak it a little bit because I can't sit there for hours and hours and hours. Yeah. I was kind of starting to get into it last year, but I think there needs to be a little change to that.
Okay. Yep. Go ahead, Mary Lou.
Are we still having it on the 24th of May,
That's the.
Preservation Day?
That was the target. I think it's getting a little late. Wanted to start to advertise and things like that. Let me set up another meeting with Carrie. Yeah.
I'm not around.
I'd just like to add, sorry,
Yeah, go ahead.
but I believe last I spoke with Dr. Stiver that this is the 50th anniversary of the building moving to that location. So maybe like a really good year to kind of make it celebratory. She was talking about some of those anniversary they were looking at for the village, in one of our side meetings. So it could zhuzh it up a little bit. Not, I don't know how to say it that way, but like, it may be the focus of that location, might be a good thing for Preservation Day. If I remember correctly, but I'm almost certain, this is the 50th anniversary of those buildings and that site being.
Wow.
Some of the buildings.
Maybe some, I actually, yeah,
Because they were transferred in stages.
I don't know exactly, I just know that when
Yep.
she and I were speaking, that this is, and so if it's a big year and we want to kind of mix together, that may, attract some attention.
Yep.
And, kind of make it more of a location being a focal point as well.
All right. So let's pause any further discussion on the roundtable till we have what we've bled into item number 6, Preservation Day 2025. Can I get a recap of who would like to participate on that committee, please? So we can only have 2 other members besides myself. That way we do not have a quorum. We had Mary Lou. Yep. Got 1 slot.
I can, oh. Or, yeah, you can, for sure.
Let me know if you need me to contact people to set up speakers. I can help in that regard.
Yeah,
Just tell
yeah.
me who I need to do and what date and all that.
Okay.
Still looking at May 24th.
Yeah, I think we're slipping away from that.
That is in the middle of Memorial Weekend.
Okay. Let's see if, Dr. Stiver might have some ideas on programming or something like that related to that anniversary, so we can tie into that. So let's say the date will move. So then we should probably think about when would be a good idea to have a roundtable then.
When the snow stops flying.
When the snow stops, it's a great idea. When that's never, no.
So I'm
The
thinking,
round table.
and April looks terrible because of the big break in there. So I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe the very beginning of April or the end of April.
Well, we meet in 2 weeks, so we have a little time. Yeah, we'll leave it open and discuss further at our next meeting. All right. Okay. Thanks, everyone. All right, so that's items 5 and 6 together. Item number 7, trainings and the website. I don't know. We're actively participating in NAPC. There was a training today. Today? Yeah. Unfortunately, I could not attend today's.
I caught an hour of
Was it
it.
good? Okay.
It was informative on, if you don't know a lot about surveys, which I don't, and process, and the
Yeah.
need for them, it was good background.
I was just surprised I didn't know like theme ones and area ones and role ones. So that was new to me. Like different breakdown of.
Types of surveys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Not just
depending
kinda
on
like
reconnaissance, architectural.
Yeah, no, there's many more options that they presented than that. And then they were getting into like how to go about it, like how you might start planning to, okay, you want to do this, but you kind of got to think things through, and then that's when I had to cut out.
Q&A was good too. I
Oh, was it?
appreciate when we do get the heads up that those are coming down the pipe.
Yeah.
And so please do send them. I do them all every time.
Is there any website updates? I think we're all squared on what we wanted to do.
No.
No updates. Okay, and then for the next trainings, just shoot out another reminder email for the next training that's coming out. I would appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Does anyone on the board have anything miscellaneous they'd like to discuss?
So for our next meeting, I was hoping to add to the agenda of maybe I know we talked about it previously, but coming in with maybe like 5 buildings that we think are significant within the area. And then one of us, I mean, I don't mind doing it, can do a little bit of research so we can start adding to blue rated properties within the area instead of doing like a giant survey.
Like as in addition to what's already identified as blue rated?
Yes, like because this kind of, the building that was taken down on Harlem
Wasn't identified.
was not
Which is-
identified, which was built in the 1800s. So I think this would be a good start for us. I mean, maybe, and I submitted it to the agenda for February, but if you all could bring in maybe, not, you don't have to do 5, but maybe like a few buildings, maybe like on your street or ones that you pass every day that you think could be significant. And I can put together, the blue rated buildings are only a few sentences, so it's not a lot of work, but I think it's a good start for us being proactive and seeing buildings in the area that maybe could be threatened to be demolished at some point.
So this is something that would have to be voted on by the town board to accept as part of, is that how that would, because our other surveys? Yeah, I don't know how
So,
things
Katie,
get,
Are you looking to expand the blue rated list?
Yes.
Okay.
right.
I mean, or we can discuss a potential survey, like resurvey of our area because it's been quite some time.
Recognizing that all the surveys to date had a budgetary amount, and that's what
Yeah.
dictates how many properties are in the survey. It is not because something is not significant. It is because it just didn't make the cut that time because of budgetary constraints.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, that can be a discussion down the line, but I think this will help too, just a few at a time, every month, maybe having updates on certain buildings or properties that could be significant, I think would help a little bit.
Yeah, I would,
I think the idea of a survey would be great. I mean, the
Yeah.
town board was willing to put up a matching grant for the last CLG submission. We could look to see if, what kind of grant cycle we could get into, but otherwise we could take that money that the town board was willing to use and utilize that towards a grant.
Yeah, I mean, it's been over a decade since the last survey, so that's a significant amount of time, you know, for certain buildings within the area. But just wanted to bring that up. I've been thinking about it. And I know that it was a discussion that we had a month prior.
if we wanted to ask the town to fund something like that, we'd work through the planning department. And then, like, if, let's say, there is no grant opportunity, or I don't know, we have to look.
He loves it when you make him get up.
Oh, I'm getting old. My suggestion would be that you put together a strategy.
Yep.
And write it up, and you can provide it to us. I suspect what we would want to do too is to see what it would cost, just order of magnitude to do something like this. Can bring that information back to you. So if you come up with a strategy, if you have some specific geographic areas in mind, number of structures, for example, because I'm not sure how they would quote this, but I suspect it would be based on the volume of work. And then we can kind of work through that and provide you with some information, do some legwork for you. And then we can kind of go from there. Now is a good time to do that because we're probably a month or two away from capital improvement program assembly for 26. Now, I don't want to be discouraging about it, but that's how it works, right? So if you wanted funding for 25, that's a different situation. If you want to put together a plan to execute beginning of 26, I'm sorry, then that could be a CIP project and be funded in the CIP, and then you'd have the funds available for next year. So it just I know that's a long way off maybe, but it might take a few months to get this straightened out and procure the services anyway. That's if you do it that way. I know you're talking about doing it a little bit differently, but I don't know, maybe you do both.
Okay.
I think the biggest thing is you want to be, my recommendation would be to, assemble a strategy, make sure it's sustainable.
Mhm.
You just don't want to fits and starts. You kind of like, this is how we're going to do it. This is how we can manage to maintain this over a certain period of time. So it's a meaningful effort, if you will.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Nice piece of miscellaneous there. Thank you. No, it's good. All right. Does any other board member have anything else? Nope. Hearing none. All right. Like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Waterman Culpa. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Good night, everyone.